The reason I wanted to do What Lies Within is because it's, one, new works, which is always great to give high school students an opportunity to work with something that's new, something that hasn't been around for 50 years. And this one's very important because it is a modern adaptation of an old church morality play. So it kind of ties in some of the things that a long time ago people couldn't read the Bible, so they were taught through theater. And this is tying in that scripture with plays to show that's honestly how the church built up, and it's very important to continue some of that work using spiritual matters on stage to help convey that to larger audiences is very important.
It's not only about acting anymore, it's about creating. And when you become the assistant director, or even begin to look into the scenes themselves, you kind of get to see more fully how theater is an art. Well, I definitely say it's a very unique experience because, one, I get to kind of delve deeper into my own character and kind of unfold them, and at the same time I get to see all the other characters and kind of dissect the scenes and learn a lot of new things that are very useful.
One thing I have definitely learned playing this character is that she or he or whoever is very relatable, because you need to learn that it is okay to hold on to something, but eventually you do have to let it go, and you have to learn to forgive, because once you learn to forgive, the weight immediately just is lifted.
Well, the intent behind the piece is to teach everyone that the only thing that's going to go with you to the next world is what you've done in this life. And so I think that is a very profound statement. You know, it's a very simple script, a simple idea, but ultimately, if you think about it, it is very powerful, and it's certainly something that we all need to keep in mind.
In thinking about it in relation to God, it reminded me of kind of the common perception that we have about God between the Old Testament God and the New Testament perception. How we have this kind of vengeful God in the Old Testament and this loving God in the New. It's the same God, but he has these two maybe ways of thinking. And when I read the script from beginning to end, I really saw that how God's decision to kind of start over from the beginning brought conversion. And that's really what God's all about. God doesn't change his mind. We don't change God's mind, right? He's eternal. He's unchanging. He's forever and ever. And what he wills and decides is what happens. God wasn't looking to have death change his opinion about everything. God knew from the beginning that by sending this man through these trials of getting somebody to come with him and meeting his family and examining his life, how that really saved him. It was about changing his life, not changing God's mind. When you learn to love something more than yourself, you finally start to hope in the future. And that's what I think you learned from Eric, which can be found in Jeremiah 29:11.
Whatever may lie in our past and in our future is nothing compared to what lies within ourselves. I can tell you one thing for a fact. This is hell of a hard world to live in. Sometimes you just want to turn your back on it all. But you can't let it pull you down.